Hello, 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 and welcome, my Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Welcome to your Path of True Love reading for March 2020. Though timeless, whenever you come across it is when you are supposed to see it. I am your reader, Mark Angelo Lyons, not just Mal for short, not just president of Drawing the Circle Productions or professional witch, or professional intuitive. I am all those things, but I am also a Virgo sun sign. 4 planets, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto. Yeah, there's a lot going on. So it is really, truly my pleasure to be doing this reading for you today. Path of True Love is a big deal in my life. It's one of the major things that I incarnated to work on, deal with, learn about, teach, all that kind of stuff. So let's get down to business. First of all, if you are new to my channel, please do like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, because I'm putting out content. I'm trying to put out, like, if it's an hour-long radio, I'm trying to do 3 of them a day, because I have clients and, you know, life. I've got stuff I got to do. So, you know, this way you'll be told exactly when they hit. Usually I put them out around 8 p.m. Eastern, because that's usually when I'm done with everything, and I try and stagger them a little bit so they're not hitting all at once. So if you're getting the notifications, you don't got to worry about all that. You will obviously be notified. Oh, and please do comment. I like when people are telling me what's going on for them in the reading, because as a reader, sometimes it's like you get dropped down in the middle of a Nora Ephron movie, right? And you acclimate yourself, and you're like, oh, this is... And then you're pulled out, and you don't get to see how it ends, right? Or how many different variations there are on a theme. So please feel free to comment if so called. As far as this reading goes, though, this is a general read, right? So it's not going to fit everybody like a glove every single time. Some people it does, but not everybody all the time. So please take what resonates, leave what does not, and go check your other signs. Yes, they're about an hour-ish, but I try and keep them very informative, entertaining, because that's how I read. I'm the fun one. That's just, I've been doing it since I'm 12. I'm going to be 52 this year. That is 40 years of reading tarot. Now, obviously not every day, but you know, it's like you do something that long, it's a skill, it's ingrained, so we can flow with this and have a good time with it, earth signs that we are. Cool, cool. Just clearly, just some of you know this already, but if you are new, a Path of True Love reading, yeah, it's about relationships, but it's about you. It's your path. It's your spiritual path, your hero's journey, your healing journey, your however you want to see the soul's evolution in physical form, but through the lenses of your relationships, and of all different shapes, sizes, and kinds, right? Not just the romantic sexual, although those I think are the most treacherous, the ones that force us to heal or not, right? Like, it's up to us whether or not we want to heal. Painful, painful, painful as they can be. Path of True Love, of course, involves your relationships with your parents, or lack thereof, friends, family, co-workers, bosses, even political figures that you may never meet in physical form can still be twin flames if they're teaching you how to heal yourself, right? So that's what this spread is for, and that's why we're doing Celtic Cross. I love the Celtic Cross spread. I use it a lot with my clients. I have for decades. But there's always a little twist that my guides give me before I do them. So this is going to be a 24-card Celtic Cross spread, 20 of which will be the 10 positions of the Celtic Cross, using 2 decks, Daughters of the Moon and Doreen Virtue's Healing with the Angels Oracle. All the decks I read are in the description box below at the very bottom, because I put other cool stuff on the way down. And then we've got 4 clarifiers, like 4 sort of like oracle cards, 2 to begin, 2 to end, so that we really get this sort of like Celtic Cross sandwich. So all I'm going to ask for you to do, really, of course, pay attention, enjoy yourself, but breathe. The more we're breathing, consciously, deliberately, I'm doing my best. More as a spiritual practice, less as a spiritual practice, more as a way of life, to just be with the breath. Be with the breath, not drift off so much. Be in the present moment. And when I breathe intentionally, and sometimes I say it, sometimes I don't, I'll say still point. It's finding the gap between the inhale and the exhale and the inhale, that still moment. And it's like ringing a bell in my heart, like asking the divine, like I go in and it flows out. It's so cool. And I guess that's simple. I don't know. It took me decades to get here. So Let's have a field day with this, please. Breathe, my Virgo brothers and sisters. Here we go. We're going to start you off with the Caroline Myss archetype card. Just one, to see what the dominant soul power is for you on the path of true love. Now, this can represent you, an archetype within your chemistry. Could be somebody else, although even that we have to look at, well, why is that coming in, right? And sometimes it's the situation, right? Like a situation can have an archetype connected to it as well. And by the way, all three may be true, right? It might be an archetype in you, a person involved, as well as the situation. So just kind of feel that out, right? Be in the present moment, feel it out. And remember, you don't have to understand it all today. These readings are for a month. Some things make more sense midway through and then at the end of, right? So here we go. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please. What is the dominant archetype for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love for March 2020 or timeless? That was fast. I was expecting it to go around one more time. It didn't. Now, if you are new to this again, archetypes are neutral. They're both positive and negative, light and shadow. Lead and gold is the language I like of alchemy. Oh, good. It's going to be a fun one. Well, and as good as the archetype sounds in its light is as toxic as it is in its shadow, and as horrible as it sounds as its shadow is as brilliant as it is in its light. So we've got the artist archetype, and I will say we, because this I can relate to. I did the Libra one yesterday. I have Venus in Libra, and I don't know, there was things going on in that reading I really enjoyed, but I think it was the father archetype, and I'm more the mother, but you never know. These are unconscious patterns of the soul coming in to help you develop certain powers, right? In this case, the creative family power of the artist. So this I relate to. This I'm doing as part of my art. I'm a verbal artist. I was an actor, dancer, and musical theater, God help me, the famed generation of the 80s. But a spiritual artist, and in a real, true sense, my life is my art form. Just is. Creating your reality, right? So let's look at the shadow first and then the light. If it gets a little triggery in the shadow, it's because it's supposed to, right? That's the toxic stuff. And understand, if you can clear this within yourself, you're helping to clear it within the collective, right? So this is how our relationships and our own healing path contribute to the spiritual evolution on planet Earth. Shadow attribute of the artist. Using talent as an excuse to mistreat others. Oh, and I just heard for the first time ever, including yourself, right? Using your talent as an excuse to mistreat yourself, right? It's like, how many artists? Good night, bad night, doesn't matter how it went, performance, visual, whatever, will drink and drug, right? Now, look, to each their own. I'm never going to tell people what to do, and honestly, I did so many of them. I really can't. I'm a Dionysus archetype. You bet I did. But I've undone a great deal of my addictions as a result. So I see that as part of my healing path. But, you know, how many artists will be like, it was a horrible night tonight, let's get loaded. Or, oh, it was a great night tonight, let's get loaded, right? So it's using talent as an excuse to mistreat yourself as well as others. Throwing cell phones at people. Posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Now, that's not something I've ever done. I starved as an artist, as a modern dancer in Boston for like a year, and I was like, okay, that's good, enough. I was like, I don't want to starve for my art, because my spiritual calling is way too strong for that. It's like, I either have to devote 100% of my time to this or this, and that's where I was, right? This is before multitasking and cell phones. So you get that shadow side of it, the shadow side of the artist. The light attribute, though, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses. It's exactly what I'm doing here, right? I'm taking divine guidance, grace, and intuition, clairvoyance, empathy, and clairaudience, and putting it into form, putting it into words, right? Something that the five senses can grasp, inspiring others to see life symbolically, right? So it doesn't matter what the art form is. Even cooking is an art form. I mean, I am not a chef, right? I don't want to be a chef. I'm a good cook. I don't call my food art, right? But there are some people, you sit at their table, even at home, and you're like, not only is this delicious, it's visually stunning, right? Why? Because they're putting their soul into it. Really, true art, when we talk about what is art, well, if it's an expression of the divine from the soul into the world, like it or not. Oh, does it match the couch? It's fine, but that, for the artist, that's why you come into physical form, to create music, because you have ears to hear it. Does that make sense? Lovely. Let's see how that plays out on the path of true love. But one other card we're going to get before that. Chuck Spezzano's Love Pack. 4 suits. The problem, the healing, the grace, or the luck. Let's see which one we get. Nice deep breath. Ah, my ascended masters of true love, please. These cards have been very, very hopeful this time around. So please, one for this Virgo collective, for us Virgo collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for March 2020 or timeless. Please, my ascended masters of true love. A clue, a tip, a hint. A little road sign. A little something, something. Where are we on the path of true love this month? This card has come up repeatedly. Irresistibility. No, go on. Am I irresistible? Then don't bother trying to resist. Resistance is futile. I'm the Malborg. No, I'm not. That's not the unity consciousness I'm looking for. I want unity consciousness where we all get to fucking be who we really are, and cool, and chill, and individual. So look, an irresistible artist, watch out, right? Because no matter what your art form is, the creativity is flowing through you, and let's be very clear about something. Creativity, in terms of manifestation and sexuality, are all governed by the second chakra. Second chakras are one-on-one relationships. It is umbilical, money, sex, power, all that kind of like Scorpio stuff. But it is also right in the intestines, which is ruled by Virgo. So maybe we're going to get our groove on, if not back. Maybe we're just waiting to inhale. Such an old joke. All right. The hedonist at the wheel. Let's do our Celtic crosses. I'm going to bless and get both decks ready. Top 10 cards. And then what I'm going to do, rather than put a spread of the tarot first and then layer it with the angels, I'm pulling them both at the same time. Each time I do it, they're like, now try it this way. I think it's just to make sure I have fun. Breathe. Because if I ain't having fun, why in the world would you be, right? My gods and goddesses, please, top 10 cards. Celtic cross for this Virgo collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign on the path of true love. March 2020 or timeless. Please, my gods, where are we on the path of true love? Anyone could see the road that they walked on was paved in gold. I'm like, yep, the Virgos are on the loose. Uh-oh, you had to give us the artist card with irresistibility. Okay, so please, top 10 cards. Celtic cross, Virgo collective, March 2020. Where are we on the path of true love? Maiden, mother. Come on, crown. That was fun. You know, clear audience for fun and profit, man. It's so cool. Breathe. Now, a different frequency band entirely, the angels. Oh, my angels. Please, please, please. Top 10 cards, Celtic cross in tandem with my gods and goddesses, please. What's going on for this Virgo collective? Me included. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. On the path of true love for March 2020. What's going on? Top 10 cards. Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Path of true love. March 2020. Maiden. Powers, thrones, dominions. I just started doing that last night. I was like, well, it's not maiden, mother, crone. They're celestials. So I just picked 3 of the 12 choirs, 9 choirs. Math. All right, so here we go. 10 positions, 2 cards each. Let's have some fun. The first position is the card that covers us, represents those that are being read, the Virgo collective. Shit. Well, Talk about starting off with a bang. We've got Kali, the Awakener, the card of the Tower with divine guidance. We're going to be struck by the lightning, right? The lightning of divine guidance. Now, this has not quite hit yet for me unless this is hitting every day, because I invoke and pray for divine intervention and divine guidance every day, right? Not so much Jesus take the wheel, but I allow the universe to work through me to bring to life my most fulfilling reality for the well-being and all that I am now, and so it is. Matt Kahn, I learned that from him. But, you know, I'm verbal. I will come up with my own version of it as it changes and morphs throughout the years. So, pretty cool. Now, look, a lot of people are terrified of the card of the Tower, but do understand it is also a bolt of insight that changes everything. You can have... well, as opposed to take down a building, a tower, that has a cracked or faulty foundation. Well, we have thoughts and belief systems. We have emotional strata within us based on faulty foundations. So the Tower card, this is about awakening. This could very much be about spiritual awakening, considering we're looking at the divine guidance card. With that, divine guidance that comes through so heavy duty that we get shook, we get shocked, we actually perhaps might have something destroyed within us, devastated within us, so that clarity can come. Now, don't freak. With divine guidance, that means that this is part of the divine plan. We didn't do anything to make this happen. People think when something bad happened, oh, I must have done something wrong. But if we manifest something we want, oh my God, I did that. It's like some of it, all of it's just scripted, right? So that's the ego, right? But you should just go, okay, right? That's really all we have to do is go, okay, let's see what's next, right? So let's look at the environment that we are in with that tower. What is the cross? What crosses us? Decisions, Chokhmah, 8 of Blades. So if you think, you know, Rider-Waite Tarot, blindfolded and bound, I've got too many options, too many decisions, and there can be some apathy in that, right? It's like there's just too many. There's just too many. Or, but if I choose that, I can't have this one, and I can. So sometimes like 2 options is better than, well, in this case, 8. But with the card of Serenity with it, can we decide to make a decision serenely, considering we are being struck by the lightning of divine guidance? Now, I can feel with that, because it is divine guidance, we can go into that serenity prayer. So maybe the decision is, and let's be clear, the difference between a choice and a decision is usually intensity. I say this a lot, like, oh, I'll have another cup of coffee. That's a choice. Every choice has a consequence. Decisions have consequences, but they're life-changing, right? So instead of I'm going to have a cup of coffee, it's like, I'm going to give up reading tarot and go grow my own coffee beans somewhere. It's life-changing, right? That's a decision, a life-changing. That's not going to happen. As agricultural as I am, as an earth sign. Yeah. Life of a farmer, maybe a vineyard as I get older and older and older. But then there's that thing of the serenity. Can we make the life-changing decision to say that this is the divine plan, right? Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Well, if it's written, it's written. If there's nothing left to do but the crying, then grant me the courage to change the things I can, which is to allow those tears, because it feels like if there's going to be tears, that this lightning bolt is hitting so that we cry, but I just don't get the sense that it's a sad thing. But I'm using that as a really clear example, because sometimes why we're not in serenity is because the situation, whatever is happening that we cannot, we cannot change, like the Tower card, the courage to change the things we can, the courage to feel what I'm feeling, because to feel it is to heal it, and to move through it without rushing can make your life very, very different. To take the time to do that healing. Now, that is an air card there, certainly with Serenity, so that can be about seeing this, thinking about it, deciding to look at whatever this is going on, because mind you, this is major arcana. This isn't like a bump in the road. This is the Tower card. This is usually more substantial, and particularly that it's first card down, it's personal. Yes, may it be happening in the collective? Sure. But on the path of true love, first position being the significator, the person I'm reading for, then we're going to feel it personally, one would think. And the guidance is coming to us, one would sense. All right, so what's the core? What's going on here? Third position, underneath it all. Voice of the soul, kind of, sort of. Okay. the Hurricane, the Five of Blades. So there's some mental confusion. There's a lot of data, a lot of emotional data in the subconscious, and that would make sense, right? Think of every piece of data that goes past our five senses that we do not consciously catch. It goes into the subconscious and is processed. So this divine guidance card may absolutely have stirred up some stuff. This tower might have stirred up something within us in terms of thought about surrender and release, or that we are releasing a great deal of this mental patterning, conditioning, chaotic thought stuff. See, the thing about the Hurricane that I think is really important to know is that if one breath is a thought, what's a hurricane, right? It's a lot of thoughts. And it can absolutely be thoughts from other people, perhaps telepathic, perhaps even empathic, although I would expect that to be more water than air here. But in the subconscious position, maybe we're picking up on what people are thinking more in a feeling way, viscerally in the body. But it can also mean like when people, like let's say we go through this tower and it scares other people and then they kind of jump on, oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry. And it's their fear that they are projecting onto our situation. Some of it might be in sympathy, but when you're an empath, sometimes, to be very, very clear, the safest place to be in a hurricane is the eye of the hurricane. And yes, I will link that to being in the eye as in 12 steps, which is where I originally learned that. Interestingly enough, I didn't actually do a 12-step program. I just studied it. And take what you need, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, right? That's a witch for you. At least I am. Yeah, so surrender and release. Something here perhaps about releasing some of that mental chaos, right? And that can absolutely be part of the Serenity card, particularly if we are dealing with, and I mean this lovingly, with the toxicity of well-meaning people. It just happens, right? Oh, I love you, I'm so afraid. It's like, just hit me in the head with a brick, it's faster. Kick me in the gut. Let's see, what's in our behind? What's behind us? What came, right before all this? Well, can't ask for more literal symbolism if that's a thing. We've got the Empress, Ma'u, the mother, giving birth to a child with the angel card of new beginning. So we've got a new beginning behind us. And yeah, I mean, every day is a winding road. I get a little bit closer. But that's an interesting thing here, Major Arcana card. So to go from the Empress, Ma'u, to Kali of the Tower, from new beginning to divine guidance, that's interesting. Now keep in mind that the time lapse between position number 4 and position number 1 can be a day, it could be a year, right? We're talking major arcana, tend to be more larger places, themes that you move through on the hero's journey, in this case on the path of true love. So whatever new beginning has been birthed, whether it or us are being struck by the divine lightning of divine guidance, it's going to stir us on the inside. We're going to have to surrender and release some of these beliefs, some of this chaotic thought. In other words, our way through is probably not completely mental. Oh, once we make the decision. This is Chokhmah. Now, Chokhmah is one of the spheres in the Kabbalistic Tree of Life. Highly would recommend at least Googling that. That will help. But that thing of once I make the decision, that's it. Right? I've made my decision. My last decision on this is to serenity, to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and do my best to know the difference, and to ask for the guidance and grace, and take the journey serenely as possible. So of course we're going to have to surrender a lot of the chaotic thinking, because our minds are being changed, right? There's a higher way of seeing all of this, so all of our at the time useful, helpful stratagems and thoughts, right? Like of, oh, I'm creating my own reality, I must have this, that. Well, no, that does not apply here necessarily, because this is happening for us from the point of view of the divine. Oh, I hear the garbage man in the distance. Yeah, they're coming. You're going to hear the banging around of stuff, so let's just magic clap, and I'll be right back. I took pictures of it. if you want to see what I see right outside my window when the garbage man comes, go to the Markangelo Lyons Mal for Short Facebook group. I'm going to post those when I'm done. So that it's a good way for you to come. The group is so wonderful. I live streamed this morning. It was great for Cancer Moon. All right, let's keep going. So this life-changing decision, like just there, like I made the decision, like I could have freaked out about, oh, damn it, right? It always comes, because usually they're done by like 10 a.m. I usually start recording around 11. Today 12. So, it's like, but you know what? Just go with it. And then something like I heard the guidance. Now, this is probably just an example of what's going on here. So take a picture. And I did. I took a picture of it. It's literally right. It's like watching TV, and I watch them lift the garbage thing and like shake it. And it makes so much noise. It's just really funny. But I only have to like walk like 20 feet to dump my trash. So that works. All right. Let us continue. We're going to move to the 5th position here, considering we've got this Mawu, New Beginnings, Birth here. Already 2 out of 4 here are major arcana cards. So it looks like we're walking the path a little intently or intensely. So what's the 5th position, the Crown? What's coming in? What's sort of the immediate future next step here? Signs of bonding. 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups. I'll take 3 of Cups. I mean, people are always like, oh, the 2 of Cups is the true love card. I'm like, it's a 2. I mean, I get it. But, every reader's going to read differently. But to me, a 2 is an attraction. It's like a heart, like, ooh, right? Oh, from across a crowded room. This is more like getting to know you emotionally. So yes, make new friends, keep the old. One is silver, the other gold. Bonding, 3 of Cups, friendships, parties, and all of that. But with that card of signs, it's like the synchronicities are lining up. So that's what's coming in. I sense there might actually be a new emotional connection on the way in for the Virgos, but nothing here screams romantic sexually at the moment. In fact, we've got the artist and irresistibility, so that can be all sorts of different forms of manifestation, and of course that's going to play itself out differently throughout the collective. So let's just keep going. What's our card number 6? What is before us then on the path? Sort of the future connected to this Serenity card with the 8 of Blades, decision. We've got Kuan Yin, 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. I keep doing that, the 9, because it's one woman alone, so I always think 9 of Pentacles, but this is Kuan Yin, the Chinese bodhisattva of compassion and contentment, right? Now, bodhisattva or goddess, depends on who you read. Both are fine for me. But when it's crossed with music, ordinarily I'm like, the card of music, it means that every song has a beginning, middle, and end, that this is something, this wish fulfillment will come, it will peak, and then it will coda out. It will probably have, like a verse, a bridge, a chorus, that, pieces of it. But considering we're dealing with the artist here, that just for the first time ever really changed the dynamic of that card, particularly with that Kuan Yin thing of going with the flow, going from a 3 to a 9. Literally, the card triples itself, going from the 5th to the 6th position. And something there, of course, about vibration and harmony and, but also the ups and downs. What makes good music? The emotional, the empathic vibe I'm getting on that feels really good. Like summer breeze makes me feel fine, blowing through the... I'll stop. Because I could do that all day long. I can speak in musical lyric. I've done it. Usually when I'm drunk, but... Oh, Drunk Tarot, I hope you liked it. I'm not doing that again for another month. It took me a day to recover, and that was just sake. You can imagine with... If you haven't watched it yet, go. It's 2 hours. It's hysterical. It's our first super chat ever. I had a field day. And so did everybody else, I think. So a very, very interesting Celtic cross here, my Virgo brothers and sisters. I'm going to say that particularly if we look at the past, present, future, in the past, we've got Mawu, the new beginnings. In the present, we've got Chokhmah with the life decisions and serenity. And in the future, we've got Kuan Yin with music, that there's something lovely about this. In the vertical tangent here, at the core, we're surrendering and releasing perhaps a lot of changing thoughts, right? Like maybe it's time to blow some of these beliefs and ideas like, oh my God, that was a mistake, that was a mistake. You can't get the divine plan wrong, right? So maybe we're unloading some toxicity that we've picked up along the way in terms of belief system that might have served at the time, but just don't anymore, right? It's like training wheels. We don't need them anymore because they're not ultimate. They may be true for the time, but they're just not the truth in terms of who we really are in our spirit. Getting zapped by that divine guidance of the Tower, Kali the Awakener, it would make sense that that might release from the subconscious all sorts of subconscious clearing, but that what's coming in as a result of that surrender and release are signs, mind you, signs of a Three of Cups bonding. So very, very interesting that Three of Cups bonding leads to that Nine of Cups. Now granted, Nine of Cups, it's not the Ten of Cups, it's not that bliss, it's not that ecstasy, but it's certainly that going with the flow, feeling good within yourself, even if the wish fulfillment is romantic, sexual, a fun relationship, a peaceful relationship, whatever your wish is, feels like you'll also be hearing it through songs and music. Again, more signs, but letting you know that that things are prepared. It's like cakes in the oven. Is it done yet? I don't know, but I could smell it, right? When you go, right? There's a difference between warm dough and bread, right? There's a different scent in the air. So, yeah, I just combined music and scent as one thing. Genius. Let's keep going. Lesson. The seventh position. What are the gods trying to teach us? What's our lesson here? So into it. The Six of Flames, usually considered the victory card. The 7 is called victory in this deck. This is Bastet, the Six of Flames. Play. Oh, balanced fire. Oh, I think we're going to be having fun, but our lesson is self-acceptance. And really, that's a little on the nose for Virgos. It's saying, would you please accept your playful nature, accept the play, play along, have fun, balance some fire, right? I work a lot. I mean, I work 7 days a week, because even in my days off, the amount of spiritual work and people calling, that never ends. Look, if you're going to be a professional witch, you might as well call me a shaman, but I'm not going to culturally appropriate that word. Muggles work from sun to sun. Witches' work is never done. No shit. It never ends, because even if it's not somebody coming, you know, you're Virgo. You know, it's like even when it's my own time, there's still other things that I am serving, right? So serving divine feminine realness. So to accept, self-acceptance, it's okay to play. It's okay to blow off some steam. You know, now that I've been monetized now on YouTube, I'm like, really, it's like, well, got to keep going, got to keep producing, right? And this is great fun as an artist, right? My form of music, in a way, my self-expression. But to accept, and I do, and I have a lot of fun doing these. I wouldn't do them if they sucked. It's not bricklaying, but it's a lot of energy. It's a lot of work creatively, intuitively, and all of that. But this feels like on the path of true love, it's like, I feel a playmate's coming, and if I'm down with this, if this is for me. It may not be. Plenty of times I think it is, it's not. Plenty of times I think it's not, and it is. So the lesson here to kind of say, all right, well, then how do the gods teach you to play? They give you things to play with, right? Things, people, places, situations, ideas, creativity. And what if that play for a good chunk of the collective is that artistic play, right? Play that funky music, white boy. Lay down that boogie. And what is it? Rock your body till you die. Something, not so into that. It's eventual, I suppose, if I'm going to go. Actually, I want to die in the saddle, but that makes some poor guy the saddle. He'll have to cope. Outside looking in, how the world sees you. Brilliant. The Cancerian card, we'll talk about that in a minute, with healing. So right off the bat, that says that we are being perceived from the outside looking in horizontally as emotionally healthy or emotionally healing. The moon is in Cancer right now. I did a what's called an inner child check live stream in the Facebook, the Mark Angelo Lyons Mail for short Facebook group this morning, because people are wicked sensitive and there's a lot going on, and when the moon is in Cancer, right, everything tends to get moody and amplified. So perhaps the vibe that we're putting out there is as either we are healing emotionally, which is true, I think, for all of us. If you're feeling it, you're healing it, but also a space of emotional healing, right? And isn't that really good art? No, not all art. I mean, been plenty of art that's made me angry in a good way, right? That revolutionary kind of thing. Ones that have made me ponder, right? Some that have made me laugh. I do love stand-up. To me, that's an art form. But to have that healing energy, right? That to have that, create that space, right? To create that that art that is healing, that is uplifting, that is soothing emotionally, right? Neat. From the outside looking in, I'm not going to complain, I'll take it. Now, position number 9, before I even look at these, destiny. Fate and destiny are not the same thing. Go watch the video that I did, it should be in the description box below, of how I read the Celtic Cross. Everybody does it a little bit differently. Ordinarily, this position is called hopes and fears, because what do we hope for and fear the most? Our destiny. If we knew what it really was, we would run and hide, right? Scripture is full of it. It really is. The stories, the mythologies, the hero refusing the call, right, at first, and then shit goes down, right? Total devastation and destruction when you avoid the call, but everybody does, right? So this is not what your ultimate destiny is in the path of true love for this month or whenever, so much as it is showing you kind of like where you are, right? Where you are in the hero's journey of all of this. Oh, bitch. We've got the death card, the Phoenix with support. Okay. We've got the Tower with divine guidance, and we've got the Death card in a destiny position with support. So we are transforming. Now look, don't freak, because both of these are saying there's nothing that you did to make this happen. There's nothing that you can do to stop this from happening. You're not being punished. You are being healed. Play along. Play along. That, do you know what this could be? Let's say, and I'll speak for myself. I am deliberately single right now. Yes, I've got men. I mean, scruff is just sometimes ridiculous. I'm like, right? It's just like, come at me with some kind of grace, not just dick pics, although I like them. They're fine, most of them. But let's say, like, I'm in this place of, like, at least I know, being single, I'm not caught in anybody's codependent webs, my own or somebody else's, really enjoying my single time. A little hookup here, a little hookup there, maybe. But then all of a sudden, struck by lightning, time to play, emotional bond, wish fulfillment, healing space. What if we're being transformed by somebody walking in, and wherever we were before suddenly changes? Now that could be in a relationship that you're already in, but we've got this new beginning in the past relative to all of this. So, I mean, this does kind of fit. Remember, the Death card does not mean the end. It's halfway through the major arcana, right? Usually number 13. It's not the end of the cycle. It's a transformation, something changing. So if you've already been to ashes, particularly with that card of support, it feels like we're going to rise from them. Now, I'm a little ashy in a couple of places. We're in waxing moon, so I tend to lean into that a little bit more. But definitely a supported spiritual destiny. In other words, this is your destiny. You can take it as fate. Oh, absolutely. Isn't that the Serenity card? Oh no, the worst thing that ever could have happened. Oh no, out of nowhere, why? We could play victim, and that's okay to play victim. Go ahead, play, but let it be an emotional healing. Let the child inside of you, the victim that feels like, oh, it's happening to me, cry the tears, feel it. Go through the emotional transformation, the emotional release of it. Because something's coming, and I think it's written on the wall. I think that there are new connections coming in, even if it's friends, even if it's new family, or even if it's a lover. We are being transformed, you know? And if we can really, like, create our own reality in terms of the narrative, this is all happening for me. Don't know how. Don't know how it's happening for me, but apparently there's something irresistible. We cannot resist what's going on here because this is making us irresistible. You know, a lot of people we consider irresistible went through things they could not resist. If you really look at it, that's true. Because that's fate. You can't change fate. But you can alchemize it into destiny by healing, growing, learning, and becoming the best that you can be. That's the hero's journey. Otherwise, it's just errands, right? Or a bad day. So what is our outcome? 10th position here. We've got the Ace of Flames, creation, creative archetype artist with spiritual growth. There is something going on here because we go from a new beginning in the past Now, granted, new beginning with the Empress, kind of a big deal. And we end with a new beginning, a spark of fire, creativity, sexuality, passion, but just an ace, like a seed of it with spiritual growth attached. I just get a sense. Something's coming down the pike. Now look, if this is all in the etheric world and we experience it in meditation, not the end of the world. Actually rather lovely. Usually not much to pay for that, right? But this could be somebody new coming in that is more of a sacred contract, more of a soul contract agreement. Twin flame soulmate, who knows? But we are being prepared for something here. And the lesson is, can we play? And can we accept as we play? All right, there is our 22 cards. We've got 2 more, and I found that these last 2 are no joke. They kind of click things into place, sort of like the mortar that holds together the bricks, right? So we're going to get one from the higher selves of all involved, my own included, from the Whisper of Love Oracle, to just give a little bit more clarity. So if you'll breathe with me, please. The higher selves of all involved, my own included, please, just one card, a whisper of love for us Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love, March 2020, though whenever my brethren are supposed to see it, sistren, brethren, please, your peace of higher self, 5th dimension and above, guidance and grace. What's going on? What do you see? What do you say? What do we have to do on the path of true love? My higher selves, this Virgo collective, March 2020, are timeless. Get to know each other. Learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. I'm telling you. Now look, does that mean it's romantic, sexual? Not necessarily. And the Kahn deck is next, so there's no like hump mantra in there, unfortunately. Yeah, someday I guess I'll make a divination system and there will be a hump card. I don't know how, I don't know why. Well, we know why, because I'm me. But this thing of get to know each other, somebody's coming in. See what I mean? Somebody's coming in. Get to know each other. Get to know each other. Oh, and I see lots of laughter in this card. No shit. Interesting, 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 interesting. Last card down, then we'll do overview. I want to see. Nice deep breath from the Ascended Masters. We are going to do one of the Kahn Healing Mantra deck as something that we can focus on, particularly with this 5 of Blades Hurricane on the inside with surrender and release. This should help, right, to bring it back. Now, it doesn't mean you have to chant it 24/7, 365. One side of the card is the mantra, there in English. The other side, the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the book, which I'm going to do. It's a paragraph tops. But mantras are good for that. Originally, I mean, the Sanskrit meaning of the word mantra is to protect or to cover, right? So like Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, while shit's hitting the fan. But this is more like a means of communication with the personality to the soul saying, I'm ready to heal. So let's see, Healing Mantra deck. Voice of the Ascended Masters of True Love, because they specialize. Breathe. My Ascended Masters of True Love, please. Just one card. The perfect healing mantra for this Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, moi included, please, for March 2020, or timeless, whenever they're supposed to see it, considering the intensity of what's going on here. I mean, Major Arcana cards, 3 out of 10, not huge, but we're looking at the Empress, the Tower, and the Death card. That's a little heavy duty. We see a lot of new beginnings here. We see a decision of serenity. We see play, self-acceptance. And we start with a new beginning and we end with a new beginning. So it seems like that's a lot of ground to travel. So please, what is the perfect healing mantra for this Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love, March 2020, or timeless? Embodying my soul. I have a right to be excited. Uh-oh. I'm going to show it to you, right? Embodying my soul. I know, they write white letters on pastel colors. It's ridiculous, but whatever. I have a right to be excited. Now I'm excited. No, don't. See, there goes. Don't be excited. It's not going to happen. Oh, I opened right to the page. Fuck. Okay, breathe. This is Mark taking a reading. Personally, you'll notice I don't do it a lot, particularly because I don't have a planet in every sign. Embodying my soul, I have a right to be excited and to party. When your soul is embodied, you are grateful to be alive. You are aware of life as a precious opportunity to experience the frequencies of your own light through the unique attributes, characteristics, and senses of a person. Oh, I get it. So that's very exciting. It's like when you're fully embodied, when the soul is fully embodied, it's like all of your senses are heightened because your fifth dimensional awareness is working through third dimensional senses. As your soul becomes embodied, you are elated to be a part of life's cosmic play, no matter how bad things seem. This mantra is ideal for developing courage, finding your inner voice, and feeling safe in your body. So it feels like, yes, this may well be somewhat circumstantial, right? Somebody walks in, getting to know each other, getting very excited. But you know how we do. We overanalyze, right? Now there's another card, Two of Blades analysis that could have been this. So I really do feel like our own analysis may be part of that Five of Blades, but the other three are definitely other people's opinions, right? Other people's feedback. Even though we can very much pull back, cross our legs, you know, be the Virgo that we are, we can still just take in colloquial wisdom, right? Or advice. Advice is cheap as fuck. You want counsel, right? That comes from someone's soul. So to embody the soul here, I have a right to be excited, yes, about our lives in general, but this feels a little circumstantial about what's going on here in this reading. I mean, that's true all the time. When we're embodying our soul, which is the goal, we're bringing heaven, the soul, into earth, the body, then it's great to be excited about that. I'm going to say I feel that 24/7, 365. But I'm feeling it a little bit now. So let's do our overview while this buzz is going so I can read from this place. Here we go. Breathe. Magic clap. We've got the artist archetype here, the shadow attribute, using talent as an excuse to mistreat others. We really better keep an eye on that with the amount of creativity here, particularly in that outcome card, the Ace of Flames, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. And let's not forget, our lesson position here has the Six of Flames, Bastet, play. So that idea of posing as the starving artist would mean playing a role deliberately in the shadow. The light attribute, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. Okay, got that. There's something very creative, but it's really living our life as art. And particularly if we have the right to get excited about our creativity, our sexuality, our movement through life, then that suits that, considering the Ascended Masters of True Love gave us the Grace card, that's the suit, oh no, that's the Luck card, of irresistibility. So there's something that turns in our favor here that either makes us irresistible or whatever it is, there's an element of irresistibility going on here. Does feel something scripted. Usually that's what irresistibility is to me, something even if we don't go for it, we have to confront it. We are so drawn to it. Because in that first position, we've got the Tower with divine guidance. Kali the Awakener, as though we have been asleep, bam, comes the lightning. Boom goes the foundation, the tower down to its foundation so the foundation can be rebuilt, right? But all through divine guidance. All part of the plan. It's not punishment. We didn't do anything wrong. This is just written. We can think we did something wrong, or if it's something that is positive, like somebody walks in and just destroys everything we thought our lives were going to be in a fun way. That doesn't mean that our manifestation techniques finally kicked in either. This really does feel like it's divine guidance. This is something that is just meant to happen, and perhaps the divine guidance we get hits us like a bolt of lightning, because the situation itself that we find ourselves in here is a life-changing decision. Chokhmah, Israeli desert goddess, or goddess of desert winds, right? So many different options, so many directions. And that does make sense with the Eight of Blades. Now I realize you have north, south, east, west, and then the cross quarters, northeast, southeast, northwest, southwest. So sort of like standing in that center position, of, okay, now I have to make a decision. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do now that I have been struck by lightning in this way? But with the card of Serenity, that's the big one. If we can decide in that moment to say, well, we don't have to do this all at once. Let's take our time. Yes, we have been struck by lightning. We will respond to what needs to be responded to in like kind, but let's be serene about this. There's nothing we could do to stop this. There's nothing we could do to make it happen. So therein lies that first line of the Serenity Prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, but the courage to change the things I can. And I'm pretty sure that's indicated here in this third position of the core with the Five of Blades, perhaps the circular thinking of a hurricane, but with surrender and release, somehow finding that still point, the I in the center of the hurricane, to let all of those thoughts whiz around us. That is something that one would think, particularly through spiritual practice, meditation, mindfulness, breath work, however you want to do that, bring you into a place of serenity. But it's not just a momentary choice. This feels life-changing. And it would make sense that we would be releasing a lot through that with that surrender and release. But what we've got behind us on the path with all of this is that Empress card. Really, the mother vibration, the divine mother there, so strong with new beginnings, that there is something that has been birthed, but maybe we didn't know about it. Maybe this is something that was outside of our realm of awareness, and this birth now comes into our lives as Kali, the awakener, and then we have a big decision to make. Now, popping up to the fifth position there, we've got emotional bonding with signs, that the signs are there, that whoever, whatever this is, by the way, the get to know each other card is right there beneath the new beginning and the divine guidance cards, the Empress and Kali. So this does feel like somebody's coming in, and there's going to be sort of that emotional bonding. Now, does that mean this is a past life thing? Maybe, maybe not, but it's definitely a wish fulfillment. And it is musical. You know, does that mean that it will have a beginning, middle, and end? My darlings, everything has a beginning, middle, and end. But there is something musical. There is something lyrical. There is something artistic here. There is something perhaps metered that may have its ups, its downs, its majors, its minors, as music does. But it is something that in and of itself does flow. This is Kuan Yin, compassion and contentment, being with in the moment, and a certain sense of emotional enlightenment rather than enheavyment. And what kind of backs that up is the lesson here. Self-acceptance with play. And the seventh position is saying, look, can you accept that it's time to play? Can you accept that you work so much? Because Virgos, we do. I mean, look, Capricorns never stop working too. Taurians, pretty much the same. We're earth signs. We're known for it usually. But Virgos, like, we never stop the internal work either, right? Just the analysis and the thinking. So we're working. We're serving ourselves. Sometimes, well, for myself in particularly, the divine plan, serving people, right, as a professional witch, professional intuitive, blah, blah, blah. So can we accept the time for play, the self-acceptance, say it's okay to play. This has been given to us not as a reward, but as the next step of our destiny. And how do I know that? Because we've got that emotional Cancerian card, the eighth position from the outside looking in. We are appearing as somewhat maternal, emotional, Cancerian, perhaps even a little bit moody, like the tides of the ocean ebbing and flowing, but they're healing. So we may be going through a period of emotional healing, emotional release, but this feels like a really good one. Like, for once, it's like we're going to be healing and allowing the joy to come through, not just trying to allow the pain, the suffering, the grief, the anger, the frustration, whatever to come up. Because in that ninth position, we've got the transformation card, the Phoenix card, the death card with support. That we are being supported through this transformation, but it might be the kind of life transformation that it's time somebody walked in. Now, again, is it romantic sexual? I could see this just as easily being a new spiritual teacher, or, oh my God, it can be anybody. A new friend that just changes everything. Only one person can change your outlook forever in an instant, let alone a season or a lifetime. So the support of the divine is there. We're getting the support that we need to make this transformation into what? A brand new spiritual growth. And a spiritual growth in terms of the element of fire, creativity, sexuality, desire, right? Very much that potent seed of fire, creation. Something new is created. But since we have the Empress in the New Beginnings position in the past, and the spiritual growth with the Ace of Flames, a new inspiration, then this is an ongoing death and rebirth cycle. Well, all death and rebirth cycles are ongoing. There's nothing else going on here but erosion and renewal, birth, death, rebirth. But with this get to know each other card from the higher selves, learning to meet another's need for love is important for a relationship to grow. Shows that there's a new relationship here, one in its I don't want to say infancy, I don't want to say it's immaturity, let's say its beginning stages. And I gotta say, I kind of love embodying my soul, the mantra, I have the right to be excited, because honestly, empathically, maybe I'm triggered by some wish fulfillment here, though I may be resisting it all at the same time, Virgo, that I am. No, I'm not that kind of sign. There's an excitement here, and I do have a right to be excited, as do we all. Holy crap on a cracker. My Virgo's great read. You know, the Libra read was really good too, and I'm Venus in Libra, but you know what? I'm going to let it go for now. I'm going to have a cup of coffee. I'm going to reboot. I'm going to do Leo next. But overall, what a really kick-ass reading. May the Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs, moi included, be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love for March 2020, timeless whenever they're watching this, to follow the signs, to listen to the music, to accept the play, to take the support needed to transform possibly into a whole new initiation of spiritual growth involving someone as we get to know each other, having the right to be excited. Nothing like a good Tower card for the well-being of all. And so it is. Thank you for watching my Virgo collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment, because I want to know what you're feeling about all of this as well. Until then, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of all of this as I sign off. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.